All right, I've had numerous requests for, behind the scenes footage or, you know, look at the songwriting process and, what inspires me and how is it I go about it. So tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about that and just the whole process and, maybe from start to finish. And again, want to thank all of you for supporting my channel and watching my videos and being interested in my music. So for me, the songwriting process starts. It's sort of a cumulative process. You have to be comfortable with your instrument and in your environment, and it's also about lifestyle, and you have to allow yourself the time and the energy and inspiration to really put yourself into it, wholeheartedly. And so again, that's a big part of it for me. And then it starts from life experiences. I will gain inspiration from things that happen to me or people around me, or things I hear or see or think or feel. And then I start to figure out a way to write them down. A big part of my writing process starts with a good journal. I have dozens of these, and they're just filled with pages and pages and pages of lyrics and chord ideas, and it really does go on and on. And recently I wrote a song called "The Prophet," and that started way back here on these pages, and then I will constantly, I will revise the song over and over and just keep rewriting until I get to a format that I'm happy. So it takes a lot of time to document all that, and a lot of revisions go into it. And of course I do it all by hand. I don't use a computer. There have been times I've tried to type all this out on, to Word, and I don't know, there's something about that process which uninspires me, because it's, it just seems so digital. And I like this format because it's just raw, and I like writing out the things I'm thinking and feeling and singing about, rather than typing them into some software program. I work with computers all day long, so the last thing I want to do is really interact a whole lot with the computer when it comes to music. That's another big part of my production process. As far as my videos for YouTube, they're always done with just a simple webcam, or most of the time with this Zoom recorder. This is, I think, my third one now, and I just keep going back to this particular one because it's easy and it's got great results. And another thing I've always wanted to tell people is, I often record here in my kitchen, and that's because there's a lot of built-in lighting in the walls and structure, whereas the other rooms in my house have no interior lighting. It's all plug-in lamps and stuff like that, so it's often very difficult to get the lighting. And I don't know, there's something about this kitchen's got some pretty good acoustics and stuff, but off to the side over here is also the music room. You also see a lot of videos recorded in there. And I call this Studio A. This is sort of an apartment add-on to the main house, and So, but I've also named it after my grandparents, the Aldridges, so who built this apartment. Um, back in the day when they were alive, sort of like an in-law addition. So the term Studio A comes from Studio Aldridge apartment. That's where I got it. And but back to the songwriting. It starts with the book and some chord changes. Usually I'll be inspired by something I hear, or music that I listen to. For this song that I recently wrote called "The Prophet," I feel like I've been listening to a lot of Eric Clapton, so I hear some of that. And at first it started real slow. It was like, it went like that for a day or two, and so, but after a while, I started reworking the lyrics a little bit, and then today the eclipse happened. This incredible, significant just event, and I got to see it through those 3D glasses or whatever they are, and what a intense, just an amazing event to be able to witness, and to think it won't happen again for 20 some years. So if we're all around then, which maybe we'll be viewing it from some other planet. I mean, wouldn't that be wild? But I'm leading into this because I'm an imaginary. I'm a dreamer. I like to think about things in a very different spectrum, and that's the beauty of writing songs, is you can put words together in poems and rhymes and really create this whole universe all of your own. The story becomes this thing of your very own. So I love that about each song. It's just this, it's almost like a book, or again a poetry or something like that. So this song, "The Prophet," really started a few days ago for me, when I was thinking about several different things that happened to me, and some experiences between people, and it kind of hit me, how people live their lives and decisions they make. And of course I always have this underlying theme of time travel, and or we call it some paradox between the future and past. So then it started to mix in with the idea that I had a conversation with an individual, and they were talking about life, and just all these horrible things have been happening to people lately. These illnesses and sicknesses that are just awful. I mean, just out of the blue, these horrible things that happen. But this individual was like, something, despite all that, it's okay that we pass on. It's eventual. It's gonna happen. It's part of the process. And when this happened to me in my life the other day, it really made me sort of stop in place and think, wow, despite what this person is going through, and the sadness and the illness in their family or friends, or despite all that, they have this outlook of, it's all part of the natural process, and it's going to be okay. And it was just so refreshing for me to witness that. The way it was presented to me was pretty emotional. So I'll draw from that energy into writing a song, you know. And then the song, The Prophet, is sort of morphed a little bit. You know, I started making a little bit faster. You know, I'm like, hey, I looked at today after the solar eclipse, and I was like, hey, let's make this a little more upbeat. And I decided on that new tempo of that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. Yeah, so I started going there with it, and then it started taking shape and taking form. So, and then I started writing more and more lyrics. The pages turned even more, you know, and eventually writing this sort of like story of what this person, this prophet, thought or thinks. And maybe the prophet is you, or maybe it is myself, or maybe it's someone that I know well. But that story and that storyline is what I enjoy the most about writing music. You know, you get to create that your own world, create your own world. So hopefully you got something out of this video. You know, again, after I do all that, there's the process of rehearsing the song, you know. Here's the bridge and the change. So I'll spend a few hours, you know, rehearsing the song, really working it on, and maybe changing, editing the lyrics a little bit. I'm constantly messing with the lyrics. But I will say that, you know, usually in my writing, I don't make drastic changes to lyrics. Usually, for the most part, as I'm writing it onto a piece of paper and the words are flowing from my head to, you know, for the most part, it locks in. And, you know, occasionally I'll go back and change the order of things, or maybe context or whatnot. You know, I'll cross things out and things like that. But for the most part, it's pretty solid the first time. So there's a little glimpse, you know, through the looking glass to how it is I write songs, and hopefully you gained some knowledge from this, or maybe perhaps I've just bored you to death and, you know, spent the last 13 or so minutes wondering why. But I wanted to share this with you, and again, thanks for all of your input and for supporting my channel. And as always, be kind to each other. Thanks for watching.